Hey, good morning, good morning. Morning, everyone. Good to see a few people jumping on. Tell me, give me a shout out if you can hear me and or see me. I can see you guys jumping on now, which is great. Just let me know if everything's come through clearly, team. Hopefully you're all good and all well wherever you are. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. All good. That's great. Fantastic. It's always interesting working with a few bits of this little funky technology. So, yeah. Hey, good morning, team. Hopefully you're safe, staying out of trouble. Pinch of the punch for the first day of the month. 1st of September. A little bit croaky today. They're doing some burning off here where I live, and it's very smoky. So a little bit harsh on the old voice this morning. But anyway, we'll do what we can do. Morning, team. Great to see everyone here. We've got Jimmy and James and Dean and Nathan and Chris and Alina and Simon, Alison, Graham, Laura. Lots of you guys. James, Laura. Sean, Fiona. Hey, Fiona. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you dialed in. Aaron, Margaret, Robin. Fantastic to have all you guys joining me this morning. Welcome back. If you're a regular, great to see you. If you're new, give us a shout out in the chat. Say g'day. Say, hey, new over here. My name's Jason Witten. If you haven't met me before, I've been property investing over 20 years, helping property investors build their property portfolios across Australia and New Zealand since 2003 with my business partner, Sammy Saggers, and a bunch of awesome, amazing coaches across Australia and New Zealand who do support our property investors all the time. Mujib, Lydia, Jeremy, Sharon, Alison. Morning to all of you guys. Hey, listen. I thought we'd touch base. Dane, good to see you, mate. Thought we'd touch base this morning, talk about the journey, not in dollar terms, when we come to property investing. You guys know the drill. Say it all the time, probably say it every day. This thing is a marathon, not a sprint. It's going to take time to go from where you are now to where you want to be. And unless you're rolling in dough, anyone sleeping on a, $4 or $5 million of cash under the pillow, and if you are, you should get it out and do something with it. Money's job is to keep moving. Money's job is to make more money and create activity in the economy. But if that's not you, sadly, if you're not sleeping on $5 million under the pillow, then we have to make sure we understand how to go the distance. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's going to take time, at least 10 to 15 years. 15 to 20 to do something amazing. And I'm not kidding you, 20 to 30 years of owning some great real estate will blow your mind. Blow your mind. But sometimes we can't see the distance. We can't rationalize. Crikey, I'm 40, I'm 50, 30 years. You're kidding me, Jason. Well, team, that's the thing that I want to talk about today. Do you understand that the property stuff, once we've done it, will do its thing. It'll take care of itself if you leave it alone. But it's you and me. It's you and me who stuff it up. We get in the way, right? And I want to talk to you about that today. That's the part. Will you survive the emotional roller coaster that is property investing? All right. What does it look like? Let's cut to the chase here and have a bit of a chat about what it is, because this is a little visual created by Sam, and he used it the other night at mentoring, and it was brilliant and fantastic, and I thought it'd be great for all of us to have a little chat about that today. A few things to understand when it comes to going the distance, because you're not always going to be winning. You won't always be winning when it comes to your property portfolio, team. And we've got to make sure we understand that that's normal. That is normal. This whole emotional spectrum will be normal to feel or to momentarily kind of understand, but we got to make sure we don't let it derail our plans for the future. Because look at this, right? We know the drill. You guys have seen this before plenty of times. This is where we are, and call it, this is where we want to be. We start out with, whatever it might be, certain amount of net wealth. We want our values to grow, property 1, property 2, property 3, property 4, property 5, acquisition done, acquired, tick. Okay, we've talked about the skills and the things we need for that. In this consolidation phase here, this is consolidation. This is where we manage, maintain, and maximize our dollars and cents and our assets to turn into the lifestyle phase. This is where we get the cash flow. As we go along. The challenge, the thing that we all know, and you guys know this already, is that we want to make sure the gap between here and here, that's where our money comes from. That blue's not much chop to look at, actually. But the gap is this is where the dollars and cents are, all right? This is our expenses. These are our costs, or this is our, value and our cash flow. Away we go, all right? So the challenge is, though, are you prepared to go that distance? Like, this is where the money's at, right? The money's at down that end. That's where the fun is. That's where the money's at. And at this end here, team, this is where the effort is. All right, this is where the effort is. Right? This is where the discipline is. This is where the commitment is, okay, at that end. So we've got to have all of that to get to this point. There's no shortcut. Anyone tells you there's a shortcut to this when it comes to property investing is lying to you, telling you absolute rubbish, okay? And you might be able to speed it up. There's no shortcut. You might be able to speed it up by doing different types of deals which bring a different level of risk, which is perfectly fine if you understand what's going on, okay? Nothing wrong with that. If you want to speed it up, you take a bit more risk and you can get a bit more return, and you might be able to speed that process up as you go along. So let's talk about this. Let's go through. We start out year 1. We're all excited and happy. We're optimism, all right? You've joined our mentoring program. You read an article. You spoke to someone who was positive about real estate, and you're like, yeah, that sounds like me. I'll give that a crack. You're excited, and away you go. You go to someone, and they say, yeah, you can borrow some money. This is awesome. And then you might buy a property. You might even buy 2 properties. You might even buy 3 properties over the first 1 to 3 years, okay, which is brilliant. And you're like, wow, this is amazing, right? I didn't think I could buy property. Now I've got 3 properties. It's awesome. You're already counting the dollars. You're looking out. You're like, yeah, we're going to be sweet. All the positive emotions here. And you're really just having a good time. This is like, yep, I'm happy about that. I don't know if anyone right now listening in has had that process where you're like, yeah, the first few things, the first aha moments, the first eye-openers about building your property portfolio was quite exciting. The challenge is, team, when you run out of buying power. So this is kind of the acquisition phase, right? This is acquisition, right? We've done our buying here. We've purchased, all right? We're sort of like, yep, okay, that's good. And now we have to go through this consolidation phase, okay? Consolidation phase as we go along. And this is where things like anxiety come in. Oh, will it happen? Will it work? Oh, my property hasn't gone up in value. I heard everyone else's has. Have I bought the right property deal? Oh, there's been a problem with the tenant, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, COVID has come along. I heard the market's going to crash and implode. I was listening to the 6:30 report the other night. or the 7:30 report or 60 Minutes or whatever rubbish is on television. Oh, and the guy who's an expert, not an expert, by the way, that's facetious, that's tongue-in-cheek, the media guy reading the cue card who's never bought a property in his life and still lives with his mum, tells me that the market's going to crash and implode. Watch out. Seriously, team, all right? And you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful in this space. You don't listen to that rubbish, okay, as we go along. So our property portfolio might be going sideways. Let's just do this. Let's have a look at this. This is our property portfolio. Let's go, yeah, we've bought, and now maybe our values are going like that. Maybe even a little dip. Sometimes they dip. I've had every single property I've ever owned has gone down in value over a number of years, once or twice. Right? Team, that is normal. That is normal. And sometimes it takes ages for them to do their thing. That is normal. No one's perfect or an expert at picking a market. And if they tell you that, they're lying to you. What you need to have happen when you get some support and help is to be able to buy those properties well, in a good location you're happy to own for a long time, with the minimal amount of mistakes and fuss, and buy the right property, a good property that will in the future outperform others because they have a higher quality metric. And Sam talks about that flight to quality all the time. So this is the danger zone here, team, in the middle, all right? Then you lose, you lose faith, you're despondent, desperation, whatever it might be. And this is where it can all fall apart, all right? These are the things. If you're there right now, and I've had a chat just recently with someone in the mentoring program, and they're like, oh, well, I've owned this property for 6 years and it hasn't gone up. It's still, still the same value as I bought it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's annoying. Did you follow the strategy? Did you continue to purchase? The goal was 4 to 5 properties across your portfolio. The answer was yes. They've got 4 other properties, and those properties have done quite nicely. And I'm like, well, why are you focusing on the one that hasn't gone just yet? Okay. And maybe, just maybe that one's a dud. Maybe you have to move that on later on. But right now, 6 years in, it's been positive cash flow for 6 years. It's given you $87,000 worth of tax deductions. That's better than bloody nothing, I can tell you, team. Okay, and the property costs you nothing. It makes you money. What are you worried about? We need to understand what normal is. That's normal. A property not performing just yet, hasn't matured just yet, that's normal. Some work, some take a bit more time to work. And that is part of the strategy. That's why we need 4 or 5 properties over our portfolio to give us a bit of a mix and give us a bit of exposure. Yeah, as you go. That's funny, isn't it, Alton? People tell you it's too risky to own more than one. Yeah, okay. Rubbish. No, it's what's risky is when you own one thing in one economic location. And often, team, what happens with this is the floor. This is the safe floor. This is the safety floor. I work wherever I work. I've got a job. Let's say you live in the Gold Coast, all right? I live in the Gold Coast. Don't hold that against me, please, folks, all right? So I live in the Gold Coast. I buy my house in the Gold Coast where I live. Then I've got my job and my work and my income in the Gold Coast, all right? Then I go and buy a property, investment property in the Gold Coast. Team, you're exposed to one little piddly ant economic region. It makes no sense. Oh, it's safer because I can drive by it. Bullshit. It's stupid. Listen to me, all right? That is flawed because you are not behaving like a proper investor who uses the resources and the expert people to do what you need to do. You're always going to, if you're going to do that, you're just going to have yourself a job and you're going to worry about, the fence because it's got to be painted and all this sort of stuff. I'm telling you, diversify, spread your risk, get your wealth out into other marketplaces, Long term, that's what smart investors do, and that's how they become wealthy with very nice returns leveled out across their property portfolio. And here's the drill, gang. Here's the drill. Over here, this is the valley of whatever. Call it the valley of death. Call it the valley of, misinformation. The valley of something or other. And at that point, team, we're in this sort of space here. Okay, just leave your properties alone. Okay. Stop forcing this thing. That's not very good. It's not a very good. The blue's rubbish, isn't it? Doesn't show up very well. I think white's pretty good. Leave them alone. All right, get a hobby. Go do something more interesting. Your properties are going to do what they do. The challenge is the properties, wherever they are, they're still producing rent. Happy days. They're still getting you some tax deductions. They're still in a marketplace ready for growth whenever that comes. All right? They are doing their job. That's their job. All right? That's their job. Tick. Every day your properties show up for work. They're going to do their thing. Okay? They're going to help the tenant have somewhere to live. That's what they're going to do. Your job, here's what your job is. Make sure your income goes up. Okay? Make sure your income goes up. Team, gang. Because make sure you keep an eye on your loans so you can be able to borrow to grow your portfolio. Make sure you claim your tax deductions because that helps with your cash flow. And your job is to don't do anything stupid. Oh, you know what? I've decided Bitcoin's better than property investing. Whatever. Right. Your job is to keep your income going, borrow the right money, get your tax deductions, and don't do anything stupid. That means your properties you're going to buy, you're going to keep 15 years, okay, as you go. Make sure if you're having some challenges, team, if you're a bit stuck and you are in this space here, right now, reach out to us, reach out to your coaches. If you don't have a coach, you should get one. I have a coach for 4 different areas of my life, team. And I can tell you every single cent of it is well worth the investment, okay? You can just get some support in that space. I know a bunch of you guys are in the mentoring program, which is awesome. So good to see all of you guys on this morning. But hopefully that makes sense. Give me a shout out in the chat if that makes sense. It's the emotional capacity for you to go the distance because your properties are going to go the distance, team. Unless you buy, some piece of rubbish that falls over, which you shouldn't. Your properties are ready. They're going to go 15 or 20 years. Okay? Are you? All right? Because I can tell you, it's not the properties that fail, it's people that fail. People change their mind. People change their plans. People don't have a plan. All right? It's us that let the properties down, team. Not the other way around 99% of the time. Anyway, there you go. Bit heavy, bit straightforward, but, give me a shout out in the chat if you get it. Tell me, yep, thumbs up, get it. Get it in the chat for me because it's important to know that it's up to us to manage that conversation in our minds and just know that things are normal. Like, ups and downs are normal. And let's work out what's not normal. Let's not overreact to things that are normal. Property market's going sideways for a few years. That's normal as you go. Owning your properties for a long time to get the wealth, that's normal. That's kind of, that's par for the course, team, as you go. All right, that's it. Done and dusted. Hope you guys are fabulous and awesome wherever you are. Coffee chat done for Wednesday, September 1st. Be awesome. Christmas is close, team. Christmas is close. Crikey. It's so close, it's not funny, huh? Anyway, All right, let's do this all together. That's what this is about. We've got a good community in our coaching and mentoring program at Positive. If you want to join that community, give us a shout out. Always happy to chat about it. For those who are in it, you know the drill. Good crew in there. If you're feeling any stress or pressure, reach out. We can always help you work out what's normal, what's not normal, and make sure we deal with the things that we need to and, just ignore the things that we don't. All right, team, take care. Have an awesome day. And, Wealth Coffee Chat done.